I think the one thing I really hate about this haircut right now is how it makes all my cowlicks come out in force. But yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and deal with it right now. Hello, everybody. My name is Carrow Brown. I'm the author of Dirty Deeds, and I would like to talk to you about the last crew member that we haven't discussed yet. I know some of you are sitting there being like, Carrow, I did the math. You've talked about every crew member except for these unknown humans that are on the ship. So who else is there to talk about? Well, it's the ship. That's right. I want to talk about the ship because the making of the ship and everything that is surrounding her has probably been one of my most favorite things that I really love because I really love the concept of Dirty Deeds, as in the character itself and what she is in this. And I guess I wanted to give her own video because the truth of the matter is that she never really gets any speaking lines in the comics. So I'm kind of being like, so this is like my giving back. Like, I'm really sorry, my sweet character who doesn't really get to talk. We'll talk about you in this video. So in regards to the background of the ship, I'm going to kind of skim over some stuff. And the reason I want to skim over some stuff is because I'm actually trying to work on a novel right now, like one with words, not pictures, where we talk about how the whole crew ended up getting together. Where we go with that process, I don't know right now, but that is definitely the big thing that will tell you a lot about the background of the ship and everything else. But the long and short of it is that the Dirty Deeds is what is referred to as a spearhead model, because when you look at it from the top, it looks like a spearhead. When they designed the spearhead, they designed it to be able to be in orbit and also to go into atmosphere as needed. And one of the things that they had to consider is that when they're sending the ship out, they're trying to make it so it doesn't always need like certain things like fuel, because when you're in space and you're away from ports and things like that, and you have to go into combat, one of the other things that comes with warfare is having resources, and if you don't have your resources, then you're kind of screwed. That's kind of like how sieges used to work. They used to like starve people out of the fortresses and stuff like that. So when they made the spearheads, they made it so that way they could kind of work with what was out in space to keep going for the sake of the mission. But they also did another thing. They played with its AI a little bit. And when I say it played with its AI, I mean it did something that I personally really love, and it was something that Ghost in the Shell touched on a little bit, so I don't want to spoil all that for you. But the way that the AI would self-learn was what ended up making it very dangerous, and it got to the point where the people who made it realizes like, I think we've made a problem. It's kind of like, if you think about it, it's like the way that they kind of mess with food a little bit, because what they'll do is scientists will come in, like look at dwarf wheat. We're gonna get nerdy and then come right back to talking about space, I promise. But if you guys take a look at dwarf wheat, the whole reason they made dwarf wheat was in order to like quadruple the production of wheat, right? And so they did it in order to help world starvation. That was a great reason. But then what they didn't realize after so many years of study is that dwarf wheat, because it's a super gluten, when it comes into the body doesn't know what to do with that. And so instead of just letting it organically pass through everything, it just kind of takes it and puts it in the butt. And so that was one of the side effects. So now people are talking about, hey, maybe this dwarf wheat isn't so good and maybe we shouldn't be eating it. It's the same thing with the AI principle. Like they made the spearheads with these types of self-learning AIs in order to help them out in space, thinking it would help with the mission, not realizing how they would evolve. Now, for the most part, the spearhead is technically retired. Technically, I will let you know that there are other spearheads floating around in space, but they're oh man, it's like I really want to talk about this, but I don't want to spoil the book. There are other spearheads out there. There's not very many, and when people see them, they usually try to go the other way. So that's what I'll say about that so far. But now I want to talk to you guys about the actual creation of this design, because this did not come fully from me. So as you guys can see, I've put up like two pictures of the Dirty Deeds. So the concept, the colors may be a little bit different than what you're used to. That's something that might happen later. We'll find out. But when I made Dirty Deeds, I sent in a write-up of Dirty Deeds to Evan, and I was like, let's go ahead and see what we can do with this and see what happens. And he came up with like, I think it was 8 designs. I think it was 8. It was 6 or 8, one of those two numbers. And I want you guys to understand that I did not pick this design, because at the end of the day, my target audience is not me for this book, right? Like my target audience is a much wider group of individuals. I really wanted the ship to appeal to males between the ages of 26 and like 50. And so what I did was, when I had these designs, I actually went and reached out to guys who I know who read comics and who like sci-fi, and I was like, hey, can you take a look at these designs and tell me which one appeals to you the most? And every one of them pick this design. So this design did not come solely from me. It was fan powered, and people were like, no, this one's sick, I want to like this. And then another person was like, are you gonna make this an action figure? I have no idea. I think that would be really cool one day. But that was how the overall shape and the design of the ship came into effect. Colors may change later. This was something that I originally had wanted to do for the color scheme of the ship, but due to some miscommunication from my part for Rippaverse number 3, it ended up not happening. But I will say that right now I do like the color scheme. I think it's really good, and we'll see what happens after that. Personality-wise, I can't tell you too much about the ship, but I will say if you guys read the author letter at the start of Dirty Deeds number 1, when that fulfillment comes in and you guys like have it in your hands, you'll pick up on the personality of the ship a little bit more. But one of the things I really do like writing is with the ship, because I've drafted like the next like 8 issues, and the reason I do that is because that way if I draft 8 issues, I can go back and start like adding or tweaking little tiny things, so that way I can put in breadcrumbs and whatnot. That's like a writing process I really enjoy doing. But one of the things I really liked was when the ship wants to drive one way and Beetles wants to go the other way, because even though the ship could technically drive itself, it's at full capacity when it has a pilot to assist it. And so watching those two squabble a little bit at times is kind of fun. Although I will say that there are like really tense moments when the ship will just like fully take over, but it taxes her entire system to do that because she's not supposed to. And hopefully you guys get to see those moments. We'll find out, because we're only on Dirty Deeds number 1, and I can only get 2 if you like it too. So if you guys ever get your hands on this book and you like it and you think it's really good, please leave a review, reach out, let me know what you think about it, tag my boss, tell him you like it, tell him you want more, and then we can probably go from there. But that's my video for the day. I had a really good time talking about this, and I look forward to doing the final one tomorrow. What will we be talking about tomorrow? I know that's a surprise. I can't wait to tell you about that. But that will be it for today, and I will see you then. Ta-ta!